Hey YouTube, today I am ready to start hardening my armor here. So I've got two pieces, my helmet and then just an extra piece, just in case I have any resin left over after coating there. I want to have another piece handy to quickly put it on. What I am using is Smoothcast 321 for the outside. It has, I think it says 7-minute pot life and 30 minutes for a complete cure. Which basically means once I've mixed the two parts together, I got 7 minutes to get it onto the piece. So what I'm using is just these cheapy brushes. I think you can get a pack of 30 for $10. And these disposable plastic cups. You can see that I've marked there and there. The Smoothcast, you mix the two parts in a 1-to-1 ratio. So that is one part, and then that is the other part, so they're equal amounts. That's pretty much it. I'll show you putting the first coat on here. First things first, it may not smell bad, but it does say that you should be using a respirator. So since I'm not doing this outside, I'm going to put on my respirator. I won't really be able to talk too audibly through it. So once I put it on, I won't be saying much. But you'll be able to watch me mix the stuff, stir it up, and put it on. Alright, so I've got my respirator on. Not sure how well you'll be able to hear me through this, but I am your father. Sorry, I couldn't help that part. Alright, so you take part 1, which is the yellow, and part 2, which is the blue. Have something handy to clean up any spills. And I will just pour this until it reaches the first line. When you're selecting the kind of plastic cups to use, just be careful what you pick. Some of them aren't really meant to hold sort of plastic resiny materials, and they might melt. So put in part 2. Quickly try and put the lid on this. Now we've got 7 minutes. I forgot my watch, but too late now. Take this. Stir it up. Now it does get quite hot. I should have gloves too, but I can't find them, so I'm not going to worry about it. Alright, then you take your cheap brush. I'm basically not worrying if it drips onto the desk or anything, because I just will peel it off. And the goal here is just go as fast as you freaking can. Once it starts looking really cloudy, you really shouldn't use it anymore. Sometimes I still do, because this stuff is expensive. I don't know how it compares to fiberglass. So there will be less talking now and more painting. I'm being really sloppy with this too, which I don't necessarily like, but I figure I will fix that when it comes to sanding. And the goal here is basically just to get a thin layer of plastic all along the outside, just to sort of make it completely sealed. I also apologize for the... Oh! Didn't mean to kick that. Let's just move that back in place. I think I mixed up too much as well. Oh yes, but I apologize for any of the pauses I'm making while I'm speaking. It's hard to talk and breathe at the same time with a respirator, I guess. But yeah, I've definitely done way too much mixing here because I'm not going to be able to use this all up before it sets. Which means I will have a very plasticky cup, I guess. Just trying to make sure that I've got everywhere. Yeah, I'm barely even halfway through it, and I think I've pretty much got the first coat on. You can't put multiple coats on, or it's still not cured. I'm also pushing the piece back, unfortunately, because I didn't think about this. Alright, I will hold it there with a piece of plastic, just so that I can get that area a little bit better. Looks like I missed a little bit back here. Yeah, I can see it starting to set up already. But yeah, you definitely want to remember to have a watch handy so that you know what's going on. I might be able to finish this piece if I keep going, even though it's starting to get a little tacky, so I probably shouldn't, but as I said, this stuff is expensive, so I'm going to try and make the most out of it. Next time I will definitely be mixing up less. It's also super hot in here, so that's not helping with the whole respirator thing. But better that than inhaling poison, right? Oh yeah, it's getting incredibly goopy now. I think, yeah, this is the end. It's now more of a paste. Yeah, it's gelled. So as you can see, let's just make sure you can see. I went too far, so I'm not so worried about that. But that is it for now. I'm going to let this dry. I'll show you what happens with the cup because it's going to turn into a solid piece of plastic. That brush is garbage. And yeah, I will see you in 30 minutes. And we're back. It's been about half an hour. You might notice there's some tinfoil under here now. That's advisable because when this was done drying, it was pretty stuck to the desk. I'd forgotten that last time I'd done it, you put down a layer of tinfoil, and then the worst that happens is some of the tinfoil will rip off on the bottom, but it doesn't stick to tinfoil nearly as well. Also, the part that I sort of messed up on, you can see, that'll just mean more sanding later. And what's left in the cup is now solid plastic, so this is garbage. For the one next coat I'm going to do, I've done about half that amount, so I think that should work out. Rather than show you each coat that I put on, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I think what I've been doing, at least on my test pieces, was I would do 3 coats on the outside, and then I would do a coat or 2 on the inside. So what I'll do is I'll finish the exterior coats on these, well, at least on this piece, maybe on that piece as well. And when it comes time to do the inside, I will show you how I do that. So for you, that'll be a couple seconds. For me, it'll be a little while. So I will see you then. Okay, so we now have 3 coats on it. It's getting a little bit harder, but it's still not as reinforced as I'd like it. You can see it all pulled up along the bottom. I'll probably clean that up later when I'm sanding it. I'm not going to worry about it right now. So what I'm going to use for the inside is Smooth Cast 320. It's essentially the same as the 321, only this has a pot life of 3 minutes and cure time of 10 minutes, and that's important for how I'm planning on doing this. This is also a 1-to-1 thing. I'm just going to eyeball it because I don't need to be 100% precise here. And I'm going to need more of it than I would need if I was just going to paint it on with a brush like I did with the 321. I'm going to assume that's about half and half. Now, I've got a watch this time so I can time it. So, stir it up. It's going to start solidifying in minutes. What you do, just make sure that this can be seen. You take it, and you just kind of pour it inside. So that makes a big mess inside, but then what you do is you just slosh it around. I'm not sure how much you can see, but I'm not pausing to take a look. The idea is you keep doing this, keeping in mind that this piece is going to heat up. I can already feel it getting quite warm. I'm also wearing the gloves because I definitely don't want any accidentally getting on my hands, like what would have just happened right there. It's already starting to get kind of tacky, but you basically just keep moving the piece around. I can see, since I can easily see inside this piece, I can see how much coverage I'm getting in here. Now it mostly appears to be solidified. There's still a little bit. But I've learned from my test pieces that even when it looks like it's solidified, you still got to go for a couple minutes more. I mean, I've only been at it for 2 minutes. And I can still see liquid running around. It's definitely more viscous. And if I leave it, oh, and important thing to remember, put on your respirator, because I forgot to do that. I've got the window wide open, but respirator is always a good idea with this stuff. Now I'm not sure if I'm just going to do one coat like this or if I'm going to put a second coat in there. See, it looks mostly solid now. It's been over 3 minutes, but I'm going to just keep twirling it around for maybe another 2 minutes because I absolutely want to make sure that it is pretty much set. Because I don't want to like set it down only to discover that it's sinking all down into one of the low points. Like I can still see one glob of it there. So I think that got pretty good coverage inside. It's been 4 minutes, so one more minute, and then I'm going to assume that it's okay. Now the reason why you would use the 320 instead of the 321 is because then you only have to do this for 5 minutes, whereas with the other stuff you'd have to do it for like 10 minutes or more because it doesn't set nearly as fast. Yeah, probably what I'll do is I'll do one more coat on the inside because I still need to sand this and I want to sand it smooth, so I'm going to need the extra material there. I mean, I can see that it's building up, so... Okay, it's been 5 minutes. Things look pretty good. All right. So I'm just going to set that there. That can dry out or cure out or whatever it does. And yeah, I'll put the next coat in probably, I know it says 10 minutes, but maybe I'll give it like half an hour, just in case, because I want to make sure it's completely cured. So when I put on the second coat, I will turn the camera on again. Okay, so it's been about half an hour, and everything inside seems to have cured. So now, as you can hear, it's pretty much plastic now. Like I said, I'm going to put one more coat on the inside just because when I start sanding it, I don't want to sand through all the material. Judging by how thick the last coat went on, one more coat should do it. I'll make it a bit heavier and I'll end up using more material, but I think it will be worth it. So I'm not going to show that because it's exactly the same as what I did last time. You pour it in and swish it around. So yeah, this is how you harden your armor using Smoothcast. I guess the next step that I'll show in another video will be when I actually sand it. So until then, see ya!